Come on in. I'm Annie Elliott, and welcome to my home tour. This is our living room, and let me open by saying too that because I'm an interior designer, I change things all the time. So this is how the house looks now, and in 6 months or a year, it might look different. So we're capturing a moment in time here. So this is our living room. And I have to say, I'm very happy with this wall color. The living room only has one window, as you can see. It is north facing. That is very tricky for paint colors. Yellows can go green, and it just doesn't get a lot of light. Great for artists, not so great for people who want to actually live here. So I wanted a very light blush on the wall, and Farrow & Ball has some really light, very light pinks that I thought would work well. When we finally got around to putting up samples, they went absolutely dead. They just went beige. It was very sad. So this color happens to be Benjamin Moore's Pink Moiré. I can't think of the color right now, but it's just Pink Moiré. The trim is simply white. Yeah, and so I'm very happy. It gives the room a warm glow. I don't think it reads as like pink, you know, but anyway. The rug, so many of the rugs you see will have been purchased online because Oriental rugs are the best because they show nothing and they stand up to traffic and pets and kids and spills and all that. So plus I just love the way they look. I think you can mix them with, you know, traditional furniture or contemporary furniture. So this is just a look I like. It's kind of a weird tealish color. So anyway, that is that. Then we have a nice big sofa. The room is not huge, as you can see, but the ceilings are tall. I think they're close to 10 feet, 9.5. And so we did need a sofa. We wanted a sofa that had a little bit of height to the back. So I believe this is about 36. So anyway, nice wide green sofa, bench seat, so 3 people can sit there really, really comfortably. And I actually just redid this gallery wall. I'm a huge believer in art, as you may know if you've seen any of my videos. And I just think that art is what personalizes a home. You shouldn't be afraid to buy it. You can find it anywhere. You do not have to spend a lot of money. So the really brief art tour here is that these 2 pieces were done by a friend of mine. And this, my husband John gave me for an anniversary present. It's sort of an ad for a bride from Bangladesh, which is kind of funny. And this she actually did in the 80s, but I just bought it. It's of Georgetown. This and this were done by an artist friend in Philadelphia. This is from Transformer Galleries, Flat File, Transformers in DC, love them. These 2 were my grandmother's, so nice impressionist-y kind of things. And this is a really funny painting. It's from like the late 40s, early 50s, sold through Sears Roebuck as part of the Vincent Price collection. Look that up another time, but I just love the picture. I think it was 40 bucks. So anyway, we've reassembled this and made it taller than it was before, which I think really lifts the room. We decided to put 2 chairs over here. We have people over quite frequently, and we use every room in our house. So we always gather here for drinks and whatever. I'm constantly tinkering with what would work best. But we have 2 nice, big, deep chairs here. If you ever read anything I've written, I probably wrote it from this chair. Oh, look at that. Something I've written. This is my little book. You can buy it on my website though. But actually a lot of it was written from this chair. Table is my grandmother's. Thank you, Granny. And you know, it's really important to have things on surfaces. You don't have to crowd them. You don't have to like totally muck them up, but it does help surfaces look lonely if they don't have anything on them. So, you know, nice lamp from Visual Comfort, couple books. This bad boy, oh, he's great. He weighs a ton. Found him in a vintage store. This is a little like Limoges plate, very damaged. Also got it in a vintage store. But you know, it's kind of, I just like it. I just like the way it looks. Coffee table books on a coffee table, obviously. This coffee table is actually from Crate and Barrel. So I wanted something a little bit more modern to counteract all of the traditional that we have going on. This is from Mitchell Gold. May it rest in peace, evidently, but it is the Mona Sofette, and I've held on to it for so long because it is only 54 inches wide. And it seats 1 person super comfortably, 2 people less comfortably, and that's about it. And we can talk about it more later. Never loved it, but because it's such a great size, I've actually reupholstered it 3 times. So it does the job. It works in the room. We have a fireplace that's unusually high, and this is just this bizarro expanse of space. And so I just decided to hang a picture here just to fill it up a little bit. Again, super high. I do like a mirror in a room. I don't love crowding a room with mirrors. So if you want to put a mirror over the fireplace, you can. I would prefer to see art there. In general, if you walk into a room, I would rather see art than a mirror. In this case, we have so much art over there that I thought it might be overkill to have art here also. So thus the mirror always bounces some light around, gives a little sparkle to the room. What to do in a non-working fireplace is such an ongoing challenge. I mean, the best thing really, or one good thing, is to have a really beautiful decorative fireplace screen, which as you can see, I've not gotten around to yet. So I just put a bunch of glass bottles in here. They get a little lost, but they're a little bit of interest. Corner fireplaces are so hard. You have to kind of ignore them unless the room is so big and you can do one seating area here and one over there. But anyway, they're very tricky, but I do love that it's tall. You can see it, but we could not orient the furniture around it. Over here, we have this nice, that also my grandmother's. Love the antique-y vibe for that. And we actually do keep stuff in here like cocktail napkins and what have you. An old map of Philadelphia, my adopted hometown. And some family pictures. And so now let's go into the dining room. So this room actually has changed recently. I used to have a neutral grass cloth on the walls, just a really pretty straw color grass cloth, and a kind of a farm table, dark stained wood, but not very formal, very narrow. My husband wanted it very narrow, so it was only 33 inches wide. And we have had these chairs, no kidding, for 20 years. I mean, they have held up so well. Leather dining chairs are really, they're a good idea. And they last forever, obviously. So it was all great. And the woodwork was this color with the grass cloth. And it was very nice. It was perfectly lovely. There was nothing wrong with it. However, I could no longer live with this table. It was too shallow and it had a really deep apron here. And so even though it looked like a super long table, the corner, the legs of the table were actually like in here. So you actually couldn't squeeze a lot of people. Again, we have dinners a lot and you just couldn't squeeze enough people around it. It also was a little high, so I felt like I needed a booster seat. I was done. We'd had it for 20 years since we moved into this house. And John was finally ready to let it go. So I found this online at a vintage store in Michigan, I think. They could not have been nicer. I'm sorry, I can't remember their name right now. But I wanted a burlwood table. I know burlwood is very popular right now. I'm really hoping that this stands the test of time, but it is exactly the size and shape I wanted. I wanted a Parsons style, which means that the legs are exactly at the corners of the table. So we easily can fit 4 chairs on here, sometimes 5 if people are friendly. So that works super, super well. All the leaves are in it. It is, it's not a teeny tiny room, but nothing else going on, might as well have the table. So I had a sneaking suspicion that once we got the new table, the wallpaper was gonna look gross. And I was correct. And so we began the odyssey of finding the right wallpaper. One of my daughters was very against this because it is dark, as you can see. And we use this dining room for everything. I mean, this is a row house. We don't have a million rooms. And so breakfast and lunch, I am usually in my office, but breakfast and dinner are right here. So I didn't want it to feel too formal, but I fell in love with this wallpaper, which is Schumacher's Queen Fruit. And again, as I said before, I can't believe that the woodwork was already this color, which is Polo Blue by Benjamin Moore. It looks almost black. My painter was very kind and sprayed it, so that's what makes it look so glossy. And I love this wallpaper, and my daughter has come around, so that's good. And as you can see, there's a little bit of metallic in the wallpaper. It's not sparkly metallic, but it's metallic paint. And that kind of catches the light a little bit, which brightens things up a bit. This piece of art is from yet another friend, and it used to be on a different wall in this room, and I didn't love it there. It just didn't sing. It was kind of kind of boring against the grass cloth. Then we redid this, and now I think it looks fantastic because the white really pops against the wallpaper. So it is a very good argument for changing your art around, especially if you do new things. A word about these flowers, which are a little accidental. They have a lot of stargazer lilies in them, which are super pretty, but they're very fragrant. So if you're actually having a dinner party, do not get them because you shouldn't have that smell coming at you when you're trying to enjoy food. Just a little tip of the day there. Got another thing for my grandmother. I guess she really came through, huh? Sideboard for my grandmother. Found this at a vintage store, different vintage store. This is mid-century. I love this thing. Oh, and this was my parents'. Nice ladder back chair. We've had it rewoven. That thing is super old. And so over here, stepping over and on Tilly's dog bed, she tends to have one in every room. This is our powder room. And we have wallpapered it in Cole & Sons Cabaret, which is so fun. I mean, when else would you do this crowded, busy wallpaper? I love it. The room is sort of an unusual shape because when we first moved in, this disgustingly was a full bathroom with a shower and everything. The previous owners just used it for storage. But so I love thinking about the history of the house and the iterations it's gone through. I'm sure this was apartments once upon a time. And at some point, someone had to be on the ground floor and they tacked on this funny little bathroom. So anyway, we just renovated it. We weren't going to knock it down. We weren't going to move it, but it allowed it to be big enough to put a little chest of drawers in, so it feels like a room. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a nice little bonus. I try to keep the door closed. Have to train my family on that. Over here is our tiny urban garden, which I love, and I'll poke you through when we go to the kitchen. But it's really lovely to have this open porch. And it was especially lovely to have it during the pandemic. We felt extremely lucky. So that was good. Old Victorian radiator, not quite Victorian, 1910, but Victorian-esque style radiator. And I just don't mind the way they look. If you want to put a cover on your radiator, that is totally fine. But I think it looks just fine. So I did paint it a quasi-metallic paint called Modern Masters. I don't even know if you're supposed to paint radiators with it, but it had the right metallic color. So I just wanted it kind of to disappear, and I think it does. So a little red gives a little bit of color in the room. Got this at an auction house, not bidding on it. That seems very stressful, but I just bought it from there somehow. And it just holds, linens and extra plates and things like that. The rug, by the way, was a total eBay purchase. And I can't believe how big it is and how inexpensive it was, but sometimes you just luck out with the eBay rugs. So if you're not trying to match a certain color, then shopping online for bargain rugs or vintage rugs can be a very good thing to do. Anyway, so let's go back to the foyer. We're already here, but there were a few things I forgot to tell you about. So the first is the importance of trays. I don't love this tray with the wallpaper, but it was already here, so whatever. But really, anything in a tray looks intentional. So keys, mail, magazines, it all ends up in this little box. And as long as you can see some surface, this gives the illusion of tidy. I mean, trays, really, if you see a tray you like, buy it because you will never have enough. This funny little lamp I got from Anthropologie. I just thought it was so cute. So that's that. And then over here, more art from the Transformer Gallery. This is by an amazing artist in DC called Imar Hutchins. Frederick Douglass, obviously. It's a silkscreen, and I just love it. I love it so much. His work is amazing, so emotional. Anyway, I love it. This, again, say it with me, Granny. So this little secretary, we had a hard time figuring out where this was going to go, so it has traveled around the house, but I really do love it. It is in sore need of some TLC. It's kind of falling apart, as are all the antiques, but it's moister over in Europe, and so here, with the drier climate, things just tend to fall apart. So that's that. I just got this little painting actually at, like an outdoor art fair. So again, be open to art wherever you might find it. Little thing of marbles, just cuz. And a little lamp from Visual Comfort because, again, my daughter, same daughter, thought that re-wallpapering this was going to make it too dark. It is kind of dark, I admit it. The wallpaper is Coal and Sun Narina. And we just have this light fixture, which is the Mill Small by Erin, Visual Comfort. You know, so, I mean, the darker wallpaper does make it darker. It doesn't bother me. And again, north facing, so it doesn't get a lot of natural light. So thus, accent lamp here, this, she's happy. When she gets home, it's good enough. On the floor, by the way, we have done a seagrass rug. My dream is to do a black and white checkerboard in here, but seagrass is the toughest of all of the natural grasses. Sisal is a sponge. Sisal will soak stains up, never let it go. It was very popular in the 90s, but I don't know if people just didn't know about seagrass or what, but this is super tough. So I really love it for foyers, mudrooms, laundry room, things like that. This is real life right here. This is the shoe conundrum persists. We don't need to dwell, but just to let you know that we are a living family that has to put its shoes somewhere. So that's that. Let's go into, if Tilly will allow us, will you allow us? We're gonna go by you to go in the kitchen. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay, let's go ahead. So this, we did renovate the kitchen. This is the little butler's pantry. And this light fixture I bought when we first moved into the house from an antique store. It's like from the 20s or something. I think it's French. And I had originally put it in the foyer. And you can see it is way too small for the foyer. So, you know, you live and learn. 20 years ago, I knew a lot less than I know now. So when we kind of redid things, I moved it in here because I really do still like it. So very small butler's pantry, but it does enable us to have a little bar area. Again, look, a tray. So it just corrals everything, makes it look intentional, makes it look a little bit tidy. So that's that. Then this is the funny little feature I do love about this house is that, so we have these cabinets here. This is how you get to the basement. So it's our little Harry Potter feature, and I do love it. Okay, so kitchen. Hi. Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? No? Okay. So this is our kitchen. We decided not to make it bigger. When we renovated, that was a decision that had to be made. There wasn't much of a porch here to speak of, but my dream was to build it out, have a breakfast area, have this. And just permitting and time and impatience and whatever, we decided to really just, it's a galley kitchen. We kept it. It still would have been a galley kitchen, but we just kept it the same size it was. You know, doing holiday dinners in here, a bit of a challenge, but I really do believe that you can cook great things in not a super big chef's kitchen, which is lucky because we don't have that. So this backsplash, this was the major splurge. I love this. This is reverse painted glass, which is a technique, it's a very old technique called églamisé. And a group in DC called Billet Collins did it. And what's so amazing to me is the artist had to do the sketch, and then to paint it on here, she had to do it backwards, which is just, I mean, I'm not an artist, so I'm so blown away by that. These birds are all native to the eastern shore of Maryland, where my husband has spent a lot of time. And there is a tiny bit of gold leaf, a little in certain places, that gives it just a little bit of glow. Again, because this is a galley kitchen, there isn't much to see. You know what I mean? So John, from the beginning, said no wall cabinets on one wall, no wall cabinets here, keep it nice and open. And I said, all right, if we're doing that, we have to do something spectacular with the backsplash. So this is really art, and it makes me happy every single day. It's just glass. You can Windex it. If you Windexed, which I'm not the best, but anyway, you can theoretically just wipe it off. The countertops are Bardillo marble, I think. You know, real marble versus solid surfacing. Or quartz. If I'd had it to do over, maybe I would have done quartz, but I asked the guy who was helping us with our kitchen. There were many people who helped with the kitchen, and I said, do I really need to do that? Like, can people really tell the difference? I mean, was it? And he said, you can tell the difference. And I was like, damn it, I can tell the difference. So anyway, I do love it. I mean, it from day one, it had water stains on it. It's just the nature of the beast. If that's going to drive you crazy, you have to do a solid surface, a quartz. I keep saying that. What I do like about this particular marble is that it has gray tones and warm tones. So cool and warm, which I like. On this side, this was blank for a very long time. I could not figure out what to do. I actually have a different plan for it, which I'll tell you about in another video. For the time being, we just did reverse painted glass again, gold, it's up, it protects the wall from water, which is its job. Okay, I think Tilly is ready for us to peek outside. Again, the tiny urban garden that I love and that is all I can handle. Do you want to come outside? You want to come outside? So this is it. It's so tiny and small and I love it. I mean, we feel lucky to have any outdoor space. We are right in the heart of DC. And so you can walk to the metro, you can walk to the bus, you can walk to a Starbucks. I mean, I really love where we live. And so this is just a tiny little bit of green. And we recently redid it so all the water, when it rains, goes away from the house. Turns out that's what you want, water away from the house. Hi, do you want this? Do you want this? Mwah. Why don't we go upstairs? Come on, come on. On our way up, I will just point out this stair runner, which is a little bit new, and it's by Missoni, which I love. And the colors, again, show nothing. It's nice and cushy, low tight loops. The dog's not gonna catch her claws in it, multicolored. I love it. So wanted to point that out. Come on up. Now, because this is a row house, we do not have ensuite bedrooms and baths, which is, to me, the ultimate luxury. We don't have that. That's okay. So this is our primary bathroom here. Very simple, very obvious. Someday I will put a tub in there if grandchildren ever seem to be in the offing, which is probably a very long way away. This is John's and my bedroom. So this is the second floor of the house. It goes up another floor. And we had a friend say to us once, like, you want your bedroom to be between your kids and the front door. I don't know. So anyway, we took this bedroom on the second floor. The paint color, I can't remember the name, but it's Farrow and Ball. And everyone seems to do a light blue bedroom, so I didn't want to do that. I think light green is really soothing and beautiful, and so that's why I did it here. I felt like I never had a very coordinated bedroom. And so I went very matchy here with the drapes and the headboard and, you know, entre nous. I think this might be the next room I sort of tackle. I'm kind of tired of it. But this was the first piece of antique furniture, vintage, that I ever bought. And I think I got it on eBay like 15 or 20 years ago, like a long time ago. And I love it. It's been in a dining room. It's been in a hallway. It's just so, so handy. So as you can see, not a huge room, not a lot of closet space. So I have like purses in there and jewelry in here, and you know, you maximize when you don't have a lot of room. So anyway, on to the family room. This is our family room. And so all of the houses up the street have the same layout, and so we know, although it's kind of obvious anyway, that this floor used to be 3 separate rooms, probably 3 bedrooms. That's what everyone else does. But 2 owners ago, they knocked down this wall and made this some kind of master suite or something. There was an arched doorway here into that room. It was very strange, and there were bookcases that were really crappy and kind of set into the wall, and the fireplace had pink marble, which was an extra awesome feature. So this room has changed so many times. I mean, when our daughters were super little, obviously it was a playroom. And so, oh, this is gonna kill you. This is so funny. Do you see this tiny cabinet, this little cabinet? When we first moved in, TVs were like this big. And so this was the TV cabinet on a shelf that pulled out. So our sofa was here, and we watched TV here, and then behind it was the whole play area. So anyway, now this is our TV watching spot. The TV is there. We spend a ton of time up here. Tilly has a bed in every room, but I think we all know that that is where Tilly prefers to hang out, on the sofa. On the windows, we have Roman shades. The fabric is Romo. And these actually really do insulate. They're interlined, they're very heavy, and they really do help the room feel cozy. If it's a really cold day, we might put them all the way down, and it really is a layer of insulation. The bookcases are Benjamin Moore's $1 Million Red, a color I've had very, very good luck with. This is by my friend, the artist Liza Houston, who also did the Boy on the Bicycle picture in the dining room. It's very handy to have friends who are artists, I have to say. This, our architect, it's concrete. It's kind of a time, right? But it's concrete. And he literally laid this out in his backyard, which I just think is hilarious. So this is really like handcrafted. So anyway, the fireplace works. I'm the only one who wants fires, who enjoys a fire, but so every year I kind of roll up my sleeves and make a few, but unfortunately my family isn't as game. So anyway, this is a pandemic purchase. The worst little benchy thing ever, but we needed it. So there it is, serves a purpose. So the room is kind of, you know, it's ever evolving and ever changing. This sofa leather, I love the idea of it. It is not super comfy. So I love the way it looks. Eventually we will replace that. All of these rugs I bought online, all of them, because I didn't really care what the reds were. I mostly cared about the sizes, and they've been different places in the house too. So that's why I ended up having to kind of layer them. And then this is the realist part of the house, okay? My husband's fairly new job is 100% remote. He did not have a home office. This side of the family room is now his home office, and this is as tidy as it gets, okay? Usually he has a horizontal filing system with papers. It does, in fact, drive me crazy, but marriage is all about compromise. So that's what's happening on this side of the room. I have no control. I apologize. Okay, shall we go upstairs? Third floor. This is the girls' bathroom, and we redid this fairly recently, and so that was a whole journey. But it was fun to do. I love the colors in it. It was, you know, it was a fun project. This is our last remaining piece of IKEA furniture. We've had this forever. I think all of us have one remaining piece of IKEA somewhere in our house, right? This is ours, hidden away on the third floor. I've wanted to get rid of it, but why, really? I mean, it works fine. It's not very visible, holds stuff. So anyway, and then some family pictures. I keep thinking that I should put current pictures up, but I don't know. I like the old stuff. We got my grandparents, John's grandparents, you know, equal attention there. So anyway, this is my daughter Georgie's bedroom. We have twin daughters, and they're in college now, which is so sad. But when they started high school, we let them each kind of redecorate their rooms. You can imagine how heartbroken I was when Georgie said she wanted to paint her room white. I was like, why do you hate me? But anyway, she wanted to paint it white, so it's white. And we chose this fabric to cut down on costs, because this is my house. I told our window treatment person to make them not very full. So they actually look a little skimpy. Like for a client, I would probably do this differently, but very simple, would age with her. She liked it, she chose it. So anyway, double bed, all of her stuff, which she says we can never take down. Believe me, someday we'll take it down, but not yet, not yet. So that's Georgie's room. Excuse me, Tilly, excuse me. And this is our other daughter, Ruthie's room. And as you can see, major size disparity, right? Ruthie has never minded that. She's just never minded that. And so for her little room, she, again, with the white walls, Benjamin Moore's Simply White. I use it in a lot of places. But she chose this wallpaper, Manuel Canavas Les Toits de Paris, so roofs of Paris. And she chose that as like an 8th grader, which I thought was pretty sophisticated, I have to say. So anyway, what was cute is that they used to share a room because they were, you know, little babies. And so they shared the big room on this floor, which we're going to get to in a second. And after a while, Ruthie decided that she wanted her own room. And so this had been a lovely bright green guest room with 2 twin beds. It was really, really adorable, I have to say. But she wanted this to be her room, and so we kind of redid that. Then we figured out that she actually just wanted to decorate a room because she continued to sleep in there and all that stuff. So whatever, she grew into this room eventually. Oh, wait, I totally lied. I totally forgot that actually the children's bedroom furniture is IKEA also, at least a lot of it. So apologies for that. And again, it does the trick. It fits in this small space. Ruthie never seemed to mind it, so there it is. Sorry. So this is Annie Elliott Design's world headquarters. Here we are. 4 people can work in here at once, and before the pandemic, 4 people often did work in here at once. Although, to be fair, usually somebody is out and about, or 2 people are at the design center with a client or what have you. So it is rare that 4 people are actually working here, but it does happen. This is my desk, and I actually love this desk. It's mid-century, and it's by Jens Risholm. And you can find these on Cherished and other places. They're not super duper rare. They come in teak or rosewood. This one's rosewood. And I love it because you can actually flip this top, this part open so that you create a bigger desk, and you could have a chair on either side of it. So someday maybe I'll use it that way. Who knows? You gotta stay flexible, gotta stay loose. These Roman shades I love. This is a Schumacher fabric called, I think, Lotus Garden, I believe. And I just love this pattern. This green makes me so happy. People ask about it all the time. So anyway, most of the walls are super white. In the back of here is some light blush grass cloth that I just had left over from a design house, so why not? And this yellow, I believe, is Weston Flax by Benjamin Moore. And it was just here, and I couldn't be bothered to repaint it after we did this, so it is yellow. And I like yellow, so there you go. All of this in here, these are where we keep all of our memos and client files and stuff like that. I mean, this is a working space. And I gotta tell you, I love having my office in our house. I really love it. I think it's such a luxury. And so I am in no hurry to pay rent to have an office elsewhere, especially like where would we park, like all of that stuff. So I feel really lucky that I can have this. So anyway, back downstairs, I can tell you a little bit about this artwork. So these are photographs taken by a cousin of John's, who's an artist. This we also bought at through Transformer Gallery. And this piece actually, hi, excuse me, don't trouble yourself. This painting I absolutely love. This was in our dining room for a long time, but it's by Andrew Turner, who is a Philadelphia artist. And he came to a rather tragic end, and so it always makes me a little sad to see this. But the reason, the story goes, the reason that he used these colors in painting this picture on the very limited palette is because those were the colors he had. So, you know, he was a drug addict at the end of his life. I don't know, that makes me very sad, but he had a beautiful career. My parents have a lot of his stuff, and I love this picture. So anyway, I think this is a great spot for it since we did the wallpaper and it didn't look good against the new wallpaper in the dining room. So down we go. Tilly, want to come down? No? Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the home tour. Again, I do tend to change things up, so there might be some things that are different in 6 months, and I will be sure to show you what they are. Thanks again for coming.